Okay then, so Dante, where are we right now?
We are in Cardiff. We are at a posh hotel, having just attended the first Jambags wedding event.
So to give you guys a bit of news, we've been off for a month, holidays, weddings, general life, kids. But we've also been trying to make some money off Jambags, to be honest.
Not really making that much money off of the standard podcast avenue, so we thought we'd take it out on tour, make it kind of paid events, do some weddings, do some christenings, that sort of thing.
Yeah, because we spotted a gap in the market really with us doing being hilarious. We figured that if we could hit some weddings, because weddings are paid gigs, we do like the master of ceremonies / guest speaker routine.
Yeah.
And thought, what better way to do that than with some gaming related news? You know, if the bride or groom are into games and whatnot, we could make a bit of money. So we thought we'd give it a go. How do you think it went?
I'm not convinced it went great. I think maybe we could have checked that the bride and groom were into gaming before we kind of pitched ourselves.
Definitely the audience weren't.
No, they did not know who Jim Sterling was.
They weren't interested in Red Dead Redemption 2.
No, they did not kind of boo every time we said the word microtransactions.
No, exactly. The whole talk about No Man's Sky Next went down like Sean Murray's beard. So, to be honest, for a bit short on cash, this actually cost us more coming to stay here.
Yeah, my mileage claim is going to be pretty hefty. I'm just warning you now.
Yeah, and we don't have a business. We don't have an expenses account. What did we get paid?
I'm waiting to get the invoice back from the bride and groom.
Did they seem like they would pay?
They're on the fence, I think. And we might just be able to win them over with more promotional T-shirts and things.
Okay, so plan B, I think, go back to Jambags HQ, go back on our regular podcasting duties, and to probably go back to trying to make money the old-fashioned way.
See if we can
add revenue.
And selling out.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point.
That's the whole mission, really, wasn't it?
Really. And right now, we're not selling anything.
No.
We're certainly not selling our wedding services again.
I had that christening lined up as well. I thought,
Yeah, and that funeral.
And the funeral, yeah. I'm not sure they're going to want to hear about Fortnite at the funeral because me standing up doing the floss.
Yeah,
we
practiced the floss and the loser dance all week.
The whole way through.
Okay, back to the original plan, and then we'll think of other ways we can monetize this podcast. Okay, guys, so let's get into the main thing.
Yeah, man.
Okay, and welcome everyone to episode 4 of Jambags. With me as always is Dante Rodriguez.
And my good colleague, Mr. Rudy Manchego.
Why, thank you very much. So, it's been a while since our last one. We skipped a month.
It's been a while, yeah. Been a bit long.
Lots of reasons for that. Really boring ones, I'm afraid. Apart from trying to get into the wedding scene, which hasn't worked out. We've also been holidays, school holidays, children, all sorts of stuff really that's kept us from getting together and doing a proper podcast. But we are back now, between now and Christmas. So that's definitely our plan. So sorry for any delay. For people, the millions of people that have been sat there anxiously waiting, tweeting us, texting us, we're back.
We're so viral, darling.
Yeah, we're back. Now, we've been taking a bit of a lesson from our good friend Peter Molly, and we decided to promote. So, wanted to remind everyone that we are on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Spotify, which is great. So you can get us on Spotify now if you're a Spotify user, and you can get us on all podcast apps and feeds. So we're pretty much everywhere. We're like sort of a disease that's spreading from the groin outwards. We're everywhere now.
Yeah, the kind of source being jambags.co.uk.
Absolutely. Our website, jambags.co.uk, is where you're going to get blog posts from us, from me and Dante, on various topics. Try and get one out every week if we can. And also mention our Twitter and Facebook feed, which is Jambags UK, on both Facebook and on Twitter, which we update more regularly, actually, don't we? Probably close to every day you might get an announcement from one of us or something.
Yeah.
And they are generally entertaining.
And they try to be.
Yeah, they try to be entertaining. So, go on Twitter and Facebook for some more goodness. So is that done from our promotions? Is there anything else we should be mentioning from a promotional side?
How little you're willing to sell your ass for?
Yeah, there is. We have talked about this. I favour Patreon. Dante favours prostitution. Now, we don't think we're going to make much money on the prostitution front, to be honest.
You don't know till we try.
I suppose, but we tried giving ourselves away for free at high school, and we never really got any takers there to anyone.
Yeah, but what do high school people know?
Well, not the high school. The creepy old people that hung around the school, they weren't interested either.
No.
So,
like that old guy from American Dad.
Yeah, pretty much. Just like that. Even he wasn't interested. So no, we'll just stick with promoting ourselves, I think. But a big news we want to make to everyone is that for those in the UK, we're going to the EGX gaming convention in Birmingham in, I think, 20 days. Actually, it's pretty close.
Is that it?
It is only 20 days away, I believe. It's exciting for us. We went last year. It's actually where we hit together the idea of doing Jambags, and Dante rode a dragon.
I did, and I won a copy of Shadow of War for my troubles, which came to me without any microtransactions
whatsoever. And I did ride a dragon and won nothing. So, what do people know? Voted for by the public, whatever. But we're going again this year. We'll be there for 2 days. We will be promoting the podcast as best as we can. And by that, it means we're just going to do what we want to do, but we'll be wearing T-shirts. And we'll probably be giving out some cards if anyone's interested. So we'll probably try and slip some cards in people's bags. What do you think about that?
I think if they kind of randomly found the Jambags logo in their bag somewhere, they might be kind of interested in following on to that,
Yeah, definitely. So that's our promotional aim. So EGX,
nothing rapey about it at all.
No, it's not. No. I mean, it hasn't got any of our personal details. It does have a bit of our DNA on it, but that's just how can we avoid that?
Yeah.
But
everything we have has a bit of our DNA on it.
Completely. But at the same time, it shows we care as a personal touch, quite literally a personal touch and a bit of a stain. But we're trying to, do a bit of gentle promotion, but really we're there to queue up, play games. We're going to try and get some interviews with some people. There's lots of game devs who are trying to promote games there, so it's always a good opportunity to get a few sound bites. So providing we can get the tech to work, we'll be probably have maybe one, maybe two, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe a podcast or mini podcasts out. We haven't decided yet, but you'll hear more from us. For those not in the UK, EGX is a kind of smaller British version of
E3, I guess.
E3 or Gamescom or maybe PAX a bit. It's basically a big old convention centre, loads of games, and what we Brits do best, which is queuing.
Queuing!
Yeah, we queue for hours and hours and hours to play 10 minutes of the latest Assassin's Creed. It's probably what's going to happen. That's what we did last year, isn't it?
Yeah, I probably would quite go for that because Odyssey does look like it's going to be pretty good. But I'll queue for like an hour to play a few minutes of that, I reckon. Yeah,
well, that's what happened. And then we'll ignore the Nintendo one. I don't know, maybe it was bad this year, but we never got around to actually queuing for the 2 hours it took to play Mario Odyssey. And it was out like 3 weeks afterwards. I just bought the game. See, it worked on me. I just couldn't be bothered to queue. I just bought the game.
Yeah. I think even people were queuing to play games that were already out at the last one, like Destiny 2 or something.
Yeah, I mean, there was a tournament, wasn't there, for Destiny 2, I think. So
yeah.
Okay, so without further ado, should we get into meat and potatoes of the podcast?
Yeah, man.
Cool, let's do that then.
Time for the news.
And today it's now from the Jambags. It's our news section where we talk about the news kind of that we've found someplace. And top story, which really has dominated the sort of lot of the summer, has been the redemption of No Man's Sky. So No Man's Sky released a controversy, not really doing what it was supposed to do. I think it's fair to say. 2 years on, there's been death threats to developers. The gentle hairy dev Sean Murray and all those at Hello Games are now officially redeemed in the eyes of gamers. All sins struck from the record. They finally made the game 2 years later. They promised they were going to make, and they marketed. And now the internet has said, it's all good. All complaints struck from the record. It's a good game now.
I mean, I think Peter Molyneux would be absolutely proud of what they've achieved.
Well, he's had a part in this. Obviously, we talked about in the interview, he's had a part in the redemption of No Man's Sky. And I think it's interesting because we've gone from death threats, worst game ever, how could people do this, to great game, what a fantastic company, they've really done well. And I think, it's a testament to their hard work that it only took them 2 years to get where they should have been at day one. Well done.
Yeah, no, that's really great progress. I think kind of a minus 2 years is good.
So congrats to everyone at Hello Games. I've actually played No Man's Sky now, and there's an awful lot of grinding, so I didn't play it for very long. But it is, if you're into that kind of thing, I think this is like a pretty solid game now.
And I can get it on the Xbox One now as well, so I can grind away too.
Absolutely, there is an awful lot of grinding, and we could, if there was such a thing as crossplay, we could meet each other in this vast universe. But there isn't, so we can't. So never mind.
Gotta love Sony.
Yeah. Okay, so bit of news from you now, Dante. What have you got?
I have heard that the word Fortnite has been banned from use in the English language as it promotes gaming addiction. There is a kind of long trend of big school sports teams, kind of hockey teams in America and Canada, and a few football teams here in the UK, where every time they say, we'll see you guys in a fortnight, they lose about 10% of their members to kind of gaming addiction to the Fortnite game. This is kind of a big phenomenon that's been happening over there. Kind of addiction centres for Fortnite have been springing up all the way across both of our countries, really.
I mean, we've been seeing this more. I mean, we had the recent, football, soccer World Cup, players doing Fortnite dances. One of the matches, 100 players went on the pitch, only one came off. Rather than playing football, they actually shot each other and built little buildings. Yeah. It's getting pretty serious out there right now.
No, you go out on the streets and there are people that literally cannot stop doing the floss. They're kind of stood there, kind of doing that weird, stupid floss dance thing all through the day and all through the night.
Yeah,
it's disturbing.
I came in from work the other day. All my family, my wife, children were all flossing in time with each other, and they looked at me all at once and said, "Join us." And now I've been flossing as well. It's really taking.
You're just doing it to fit in, aren't you?
I am flossing now, actually. Yeah, it's really tiring, actually.
I'm doing the loser dance just so kind of people don't think I'm weird.
Yeah, if you don't do it now, you're not part of the cultural zeitgeist, are you?
No.
But
no.
I understand from yourself that there's some sort of pressure groups springing up about this.
Yeah, no, they are looking to kind of stop the word Fortnite being used in the English language completely, and actually renaming the term for a 2-week period of time. There is a kind of a lone but very vocal pressure group that wants to try and rename it to a PUBG. I'm not sure how that's going for them, but good luck to those guys.
Interesting, yeah, because I mean, I quite like the idea of PUBG rather than using the word Fortnite. If we've just said like, you go on a holiday. How long are you going on holiday for? Oh, just a PUBG.
Just as a PUBG.
Yeah. Or, for example, when am I going to see you guys again? Oh, I'll see you in a PUBG.
Yeah, it kind of has that kind of feeling of being in the pub and kind of being quite hopeful about the next time you see someone.
Yeah, like, gee, I'm in the pub.
Gee whiz. Yeah.
Exactly, gee. I like it. No, I think that might catch on. Okay. Interesting.
I'm going to start using it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, actually thinking about it, it's almost a PUBG until EGX.
It is about a PUBG.
Yeah, it's almost PUBG. Well, PUBG and some change.
PUBG needs to change.
PUBG into microtransactions. Okay, then. So, my next news story. Now, interesting one. We like to follow game developers. We like to follow independent game developers. Now, early access game Tripping Balls, which is set in a drug-fueled world.
Oh, yeah, man. I've heard of that
for
one.
a while. It's some kind of survival thing. Was available on Steam for, I think, about $15, something like that. It's quite small. But
is that the new one by Hippy Dippy Ding Dong?
Yeah, Hippy Dippy Ding Dong are the developers.
Nice.
Tripping Balls, amazing visuals. It's like, it's hallucinatory. You're on drugs. You're literally tripping balls on it. Got a small but dedicated early access fan base. Some people are excited for it. But some good news for the devs, for Happy Dippy Ding Dongs. They've been picked up by Gearbox as a publisher for the game.
Whoa.
And one of the sort of stipulations that have been picked up by them is that the $15 small indie title has now gone up to $75 and has 22 different editions for them to actually buy now and pre-order. So you don't just buy you can buy the base game, but there is now another 21 options of varying degrees of collectorousness.
Is that the one that comes with like a big pile of drugs in the box and doesn't actually feature the game?
That is, let me just check my notes. That is the Super High Happy Clappy edition. That's version 18. But there are different combinations of drugs. There's some that come with uppers, some that come with downers, some that come with uppers and then downers, some that come with uppers and downers in the exact quantity to take you back to being normal again. But I've got a statement here from Hippy Dippy Ding Dong, because some people have said this is controversial, but it says, "We realised that by partnering with Randy at Gearbox, we could secure that extra help to turn our little single-player early access survival turn-based RPG into a gigantic open-world, always-online FPS multiplayer with an integral loot box system." So
that sounds like such a very specific kind of game they've got there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, some have argued that this is different to what was on early access. You know, a small survival turn-based RPG is now an open-world FPS multiplayer online with loot boxes. But you know, I also think, well, you know, investment in smaller devs is great. You know, let's not give that. I mean, they've made no further comment, although Cornelius Santiago of Hippy Dippy Ding Dong was heard saying off camera something along the lines of, "This is putting my kids through college." So
yeah, was he dressed as that hot dog vendor from the Simpsons?
I think he might have been. Yeah, he was definitely clapping gleefully. So fair play to Hippy Dippy Ding Dong.
Yeah,
you know, they've made it, and Gearbox have got another game that isn't Borderlands coming out. So
that's good for them.
Guys. Good on those guys.
Could really do with another non-Borderlands game.
Okay, so last news story. What have you got for us, Dante?
Okay, so everyone is probably quite familiar on this channel about the Battlefront 2 and its egregious loot box controversy. Now, we've covered this in some detail on this and other kind of gaming channels about how it was kind of quite irredeemable the way that it decided to kind of try and fleece its customers out of their hard-earned cash.
And we've been quite outspoken critics here on the Jambags podcast. We were very much against this. We've spoken out about it. We've tweeted. We've been on Facebook. We have, you know, we were one of those people that downvoted EA on
the Reddit. Reddit feature.
We were downvoting every 10 minutes that we had, you know, every time we went online.
And a small part of the Up is Down is Up website was devoted to a Battlefront 2 kind of complete boycott, which again we've kind of been quite glad about spearheading. Well, there's been an update in the campaign, and apparently, since it was released for £9 on Xbox Live, it's completely redeemed itself.
Yeah, and we now both own copies and are supporters of it. And in fact, as very terrible multiplayer players, we at Jambags welcome a pay-to-win game because it is the only way that we will win. So yeah, we're all
dropped
for
like
it.
50 quid in it, and I won like a shitload of stuff.
Absolutely, I was Darth Vader, and I chopped someone in half. You can't say fairer than that for the £9 plus £72 I've spent on microtransactions.
Yeah.
So great game, well done EA. We're really happy with it. Thanks very much. I mean,
couldn't have done a better job there, EA. Really, I think that's tip top.
Absolutely, and the Last Jedi. Well, that just reinforces a film that we all universally loved. So,
oh man, The Last Jedi. That had some problems.
Yes, it did. But nothing that a price reduction on the ticket price couldn't get us to overcome. And
if I'd paid like kind of 5% of the ticket price to go and see it, then I would have loved it a lot more.
Absolutely. So that pretty much wraps up our news and proves that we at Jambags are
totally not swayed by cash or money or cheap things.
Absolutely not, and shiny pictures of things when they're very cheap. Not at all. So, okay, Dante, let's we move on?
Let's move on. Next up on the Jambags podcast, we have the Jammers, and we are getting to know some of the gamers out there that listen to and potentially buy some of our merchandise for the Jambags when we eventually do have merchandise. Hint, hint. So we've got an interview for you with one of our kind of key listeners, a guy called Stanley Crooked Fingers Smythe. Now, Stanley, some of you might know him actually, is a legendary arcade gamer from the 1980s. He cut his teeth on games like Donkey Kong, the Super Smashy Barrels edition, Centipede versus Giant Block, Galactic Galactus Laser Force Bang Bang Smash, and Diddle Flops. So, I've got a few questions for Stanley here. So nice to meet you, Stanley.
Hi there, mate. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, good to meet you, Dante. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good to hear from you. You know, you've been very vocal on some of our message boards, and we really appreciate your input. So thanks for coming along and taking the time out to talk to us, because you're kind of a cult celebrity in your own right, aren't you? Can you explain a bit about your background, kind of what you've done, what puts you on that pedestal?
Oh well, it's good of you to say so. No, I mean, I've been playing games since since they weren't even games. Back in the day, back in like the early 60s, when there wasn't really games, there was just those like stereoscopic screens. I was playing those as a kid. But really, it's the 70s, the arcade era, that came in, and I got pretty good at those games. I saw a competitive nature to them, and I got involved, and that's really like the most important thing. So I got into playing it first of all just down the arcades with my mates. Then I didn't have any mates, so I played without them, and I played them and found out there was a competitive side to it. So I really, on the competitive side, I really started to do quite well. I played in my regional rankings, which was down a local arcade down by the fish and chip shop. Just off.
We all heard the legends of that fish and chip shop. That is a definite pilgrimage for me when I'm kind of going on my gaming road trips.
Yeah, well, there's actually still a stain on the wall where someone threw some chips at me once. So it's a funny story, actually. Yeah, old barrel load of chips went over me when I was playing Donkey Kong Smashy Barrel. I mean, it was just crazy those days. It was very rock and roll, playing the old arcade games. And
you were clearly on the bleeding edge of gaming for the time, at least.
Yeah, I mean, if a new arcade game came out, I was on it. I was on it 7 or 8 hours a day, putting all my mum's money in it. As soon as she got a bit of money from the welfare office, I was down there spending it. I mean, good old days they were. Good old days. Yeah, bless her.
Yeah, legendary. And we try and emulate that kind of here at Jambags as well, at spending all our mum's money as well on kind of games and kind of being at that kind of forefront of gaming culture. So what's the first game you remember playing? So after things kind of developed from those kind of stereoscopes that you did there, what was the very first one that kind of really grabbed your interest?
Yeah, it's Paddle. I don't know if you've heard this one, basically. There was a ball, there was a block, and then there was another block, and you hit the block ball with the block thing, and it moved across the screen slowly, and if you didn't hit it, then you lost. And, I mean, we didn't have the fancy graphics you got these days, it wasn't like that, but what we did
it's all about playability, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly, kind of and, you had to have reflexes like a cat to be able to hit that ball. Well, I say like a cat, I mean, it was very slow actually, but, in your imagination, you felt like you needed reflexes. And that was really what gaming was like in those days. That was the first thing that I played. I went, yeah, I could make a career. I mean, not a paying career, actually. I lost a lot of money, but, it was a career that I could do and make a name for myself in.
Yeah, no, it's kind of something that we all, again, like I say, try and emulate from your example. So what do we say is your proudest achievement in your years of championship arcade gaming? Because, again, if people are in the know, they know you're something of a legend in this field. So kind of what was the kind of tournament that really you feel most proud of, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, people that know me, people that know the competitive arcade scene from 1976 to 1981, 1982 will know that it was really, the rivalry between myself and Fat Bob.
Yeah.
Do you remember Fat Bob?
I saw the documentary on you and Fat Bob, kind of Finger Bob. That was quite a kind of well-received documentary.
So Crooked Fingers versus Fat Bob, and we used to draw the crowds in, and I say it was a friendly rivalry. I mean, he did kill my cat, but he was another guy from the other side, literally the other side of London, and we used to battle each other out on different arcade games. And when a new arcade game came out, we'd both be down a local chippy or Chinese takeaway as it became, playing that arcade game and trying to get better and trying to get better scores. And sometimes we'd do it in the same in the same restaurant. It was, an epic, and we get crowds of, sometimes 3, maybe 4 people watching us, and people were just cheering us on and just enjoying that rivalry that you get. It was like, it was like Borg versus McEnroe. It was, it was Argentina versus England. It was Crooked Fingers versus Fat Bob. It was just, it was epic.
Yeah, whatever happened to Fat Bob? He
died quite horribly. Yeah, I mean, he was a large chap, and he was eating chips and takeaway between every single game. So yeah, he died not long after, like 1983, 1984. And part of me thinks he died at the height of his powers.
Was it kind of mid-game or kind of?
He was slumped over one of the arcade machines. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, and then his bowels emptied. I mean, it was horrible, but that's how he would want to go out.
Yeah, no, that is the stuff of absolute legends. No, thank you very much. So, at what year do you think gaming reached its pinnacle? I mean, we talk about retro games quite a lot these days. Now, kind of when do you think that was the peak in terms of that, and kind of what games came along with it?
Well, I mean, for me, 1980 was it. It didn't get better than 1980. Galacticus, Laser Force, Bang Bang, Smash was just it. It was everything. It was a bit of Donkey Kong. It was a bit of Arcadians. It was a bit of Galaxian. It was everything in one game, and it could it was in every pub
at the time, wasn't it? I remember seeing it everywhere, like every chip shop, every Indian, every Chinese, and then to my local pub. When it's hit big when it gets to your local pub.
Well, no, absolutely, Dante. You're bang on there. It was everywhere, but it reached a crescendo, and then it died away, mainly because of the effect it was having on people's hands. That's where my fingers really got crooked, but. It was actually a health and safety issue. But, I mean, that was the pinnacle. I don't remember 1981 very much. I played a game. I was actually on holiday. I was in Portland. I played a game in a black box. I woke up in a ditch several miles later without any clothes on. And after that, I don't remember much of 1981. But, yeah.
Well, you were pretty famous back then. I mean, you were kind of being hit up by kind of gaming sponsors and enthusiasts and stuff like that. I remember that being kind of quite a hard time for you.
Yeah, I mean, it was, up to 1980, I was cream of the crop, I'll be honest. I had a T-shirt given to me by someone. It was McGrath, but it had my name on it. I had, I was getting sometimes 3, maybe 4 quid to put back into the machine, generally by the bloke who ran the local chippy. I was riding the crest of a wave, and, you can't keep going on like that forever. So, yeah, it went downhill afterwards. But, hey, it's a hell of a ride, you know what I mean?
And I'm sure you have no regrets.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, possibly exercising my hands beforehand. I mean, I can't actually unclench them anymore. They are just into like a hooked shape. Yeah, but I mean, and possibly also having a job and saving up for a pension, that probably would have been also a good idea. But you're young, you don't think of things like that, do you? When you're in a chippy.
No, you're dead right. So, generally, kind of in terms of your gaming now, then you kind of you don't really go for the modern game pads and controllers, since your kind of fingers are kind of hooked around further than fish hooks. Can you still play kind of arcade games and kind of those arcade style joypads? Or?
Well, it's a young man's game. I'm an old man now. I'm 43, and I don't have the reflexes. I don't have the eyesight. I don't have the continence anymore to play long sessions. Modern games I can't handle because I've got the controllers, and the controllers don't fit in my hands anymore because I have to slot them in and I need to grease them up to get them in my hands. So I don't really play those anymore. But I do sometimes have a bit of a whack on the old arcade machines. I like now there's a bit of resurgence in it, and with a good stick, I can still sometimes start the game.
So again, we'll kind of just to kind of round off my interview here. If you could give any advice to modern game developers, to kind of the big guys like EA, Activision, all those sorts of things, what do you think they could learn from retro games? What do you think that we did better back in those kind of late 70s, early 80s that they're not doing now, that would make games maybe appeal to you a little bit more? Obviously, if they had kind of proper controllers, if you could kind of mash them in the right order and that sort of stuff. But what do you think that modern gaming could learn from games of your era?
Yeah, I think a sense of danger. I mean, I've literally broken my body over arcade games, and modern arcade games with the comfy chairs and the nice soft plushy controllers and mouses and stuff like that, and masseuses and oils and that kind of thing. Where's the danger in it? People came to see me literally mashing my hands to shreds to get a meaningless score. Nowadays, people don't know they're born, do they? I mean, that's what I think people are missing. I think that's why retro games are making such a comeback, because you have to suffer for them. You have to suffer for your art, don't you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's kind of just a level of skill and daredevilness that I just don't think's there in modern games.
No, and not only that, but I don't understand what's going on in modern games. To be honest, I don't. There's too much talking. I don't understand it.
Yeah, no, it's you kind of have to take the good with the bad, I think, with modern games. But it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Stanley. Thank you very much for
thank you.
Coming by and kind of giving us your 2 cents on the Jammers. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening, everyone. Right, we're going to move on to the next part of our show, which is for the backlog blue balls. Over to Rudy.
Okay, everyone. So onto our backlog blue balls. This is where me and Dante talk a little bit about the games we are playing and the games we're not playing, and that have entered our massive blue ball backlog, where we're just itching to release them but never quite manage it.
Oh, that's so blue.
They are very blue. So I'll start today. My backlog blue balls. So what am I playing at the moment? Well, I have recently invested in the princely sum of £2 for 2 months, the Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, good investment.
For £2, I thought I'd give this a go. I need to be careful to cancel it because I really can't actually afford it when it doesn't become £2. But I'm using it to play through the last 2 Gears of War games, Gears of War 3 and, the last 2 mainline and Gears of War 4, because I never finished Gears of War 3 and I quite fancy Gears of War 4. So that's what my current plan is. And I'm also tiptoeing in, because this is a gaming podcast and we're talking about stuff that's cool and we're pretty cool and hip, I'm also playing a bit of Hollow Knight on the Switch in short bouts because I find it insanely difficult and I die an awful lot in it. But I feel that you can't not mention that. So things I'm not playing in my backlog blue balls. I recently ordered Life is Strange Before the Storm. That's just sat on the shelf gathering dust. And I did buy No Man's Sky, which I played for the princely sum of about 4.5 hours and went, there's a lot of grinding on this and a lot of collecting stuff. I'm going to shoot some things on Gears of War.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good way to go forward from that. I mean, with the Game Pass, have you kind of wandered into No Man's Sea yet? Sorry, Sea of Thieves?
No, I haven't yet, and I think something I'm tempted to give it a whap it. But I mean, I'm not a great multiplayer player, so whether it'll work with just myself wandering around, I don't know, and whether it's enough that I like enough to recommend it to yourself or any other friends, I don't know yet. So. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm definitely going to try and give that. I'm going to try and whap out the exclusives. I'm going to try and get, I believe 1st of September, the Master Chief Collection goes on Game Pass.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I might try and replay all the single-player components of the Halo games because I played them back on a friend's Xbox in the original days, but that was more multiplayer. And I played 3. I think I played 4, but I really can't remember them. So I'm going to try and go through all the way to 5, see if I can whap those out. Not too long, those games. They're pretty shooty bang bang.
Yeah. No, I seem to remember them quite well. The Halo, I think it was Halo 2 I played more. I kind of remember running to one place on the map, shooting a bunch of midgets, running to another place on the map, shooting some more, and kind of rinsing and repeating that for quite a while.
Yeah, there was a lot of midget shooting, which I don't know why that is, why Bungie felt necessary to put so much midget shooting in. I certainly think that one of the reasons why people complain most about Halo 4 and 5 is the lack of midget shooting in them. They've moved away from that for obvious reasons, but people say that's taken away from a lot of the gameplay loops that they found the most fun.
What the kind of core of Halo is about midget shooting, surely.
Yeah, no, I absolutely think so. So I'll give an update if I get around to those games and how the midget shooting has gone.
Yeah, appreciate that.
But anyway, how about yourself? What have you been going on?
Well, I mean, talking about Sea of Thieves and kind of multiplayer games that you can try and play on your own, I've been playing Ghost Recon Wildlands quite a bit, and it's a very kind of casual game. As long as you don't think about the politics behind what you're doing, kind of the Black Ops thing too much, it's kind of good fun. I hear it's a lot better with more people. I'm just, such an antisocial bastard that I can't kind of bring myself to bring anyone else into the game. But literally, it's the Ubisoft game. You kind of find your outposts and your different locations. You kind of scout them out with a drone, which is quite good fun, and you just kind of kill them all one at a time and sort of take it over, and you just kind of rinse and repeat that. Things have been so stressful for me at work. I've been looking for like the most casual type of game. So Forza Horizon 3's come back for me a little bit. That's been something I've been doing for a while. But I'm just about to put those on the back burner and pick up Deus Ex: Mankind Divided again, which is totally the opposite. It's a very kind of serious kind of game, which doesn't kind of make many jokes or anything like that. But it has a kind of good, kind of solid sci-fi story. I gather it kind of finishes too quickly from what all the reviews have said, but I'm still quite enjoying that one quite a bit, and I'm keen to get back to it.
That's a problem we've both suffered from in the past, though. So it's natural that games would fall into that finish too quickly problem area.
No, it is something that certainly when we kind of get to this age and start kind of talking about games that way, that kind of being over too quickly is certainly a criticism we hear quite a lot.
No, absolutely. Well, what's on the backlog blue balls then? What aren't you playing because of these games?
I think I mentioned a few kind of podcasts ago that Mass Effect Andromeda, I kind of got as far as the first planet and thought, kind of not really kind of getting into this as much as I did the other Mass Effect games. I've made a start on Skyrim on the special edition on the Xbox One, and it looks fantastic. The music's amazing. I just kind of don't have the energy for it at the moment. I want to pick it up, but same with Mafia 3. That's kind of really got an amazing soundtrack and kind of a good feel to it. But again, it's a bit like Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's kind of very rinse and repeat with the gameplay. You kind of go to a place, you kind of knock out certain guys, and then you kind of move on to another place. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, quite enjoyed the sci-fi setting on that. I know lots of people kind of weren't too keen on that one, but having been a big fan of The Expanse on Netflix, it kind of follows on quite nicely to kind of galaxy hopping and that sort of stuff. One I am looking to kind of picking up again that has really kind of fallen behind the way is A Way Out, which kind of you're my gaming partner for. So
indeed.
And I think we should bring that on our EGX trip so that we can do. I think that game was designed to be played by two people on a couch, not across online, and I'm kind of looking forward to doing that so we can kind of have that experience rather than kind of doing it online all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And slightly off kilter, but to do with Way Out, I was watching the second season of Westworld with my other half, and I'm only a few episodes in, but I think in the first episode I went, oh my god, the guy with the big nose, he's the actor in A Way Out. And he looks exactly like the character model in A Way Out, so the actor it's based on, and sounds exactly like him as well, which is how I knew it was him. So that's a bit of trivia for you. The guy from A Way Out, the guy with the big nose, is also got a big nose in real life and talks just like that in Westworld. So is there a Westworld crossover, do we think?
It could be they're completely in the same universes. They're kind of breaking out of prison to get into a futuristic theme park full of crazy robot cowboys.
Absolutely. I mean, we haven't seen his dong yet, so that's rare for Westworld, but I'm only a few episodes in. I'm sure I'll get it out at some point.
Oh, there'll be dongs ahead of you, don't worry. I've seen season 2. It's all dongs by the end.
Oh, great. That's fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, I think should we round up the backlog blue balls?
I think our balls are blue enough, and we can move on to the developer jam.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on.
And now on the Jambags podcast, it is time for Rodriguez Recommends. That's right, that is where I come to you with exactly the games that you need to be playing that are so up to date right now that you need to kind of be getting on with. So I'm going to go through the list of games that I need to review for you, and you are going to love this one. Those of you that are kind of fans of kind of big open world games, it is a game that you need to get yourself behind. Now, have you heard of Red Dead Redemption? Oh, you have? Oh, well, yes. Very well done. Now, did you know that there is such a thing as Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare? That's right, folks. I didn't know about it either until recently, but there is an up-to-date kind of downloadable content patch for Red Dead Redemption where you get to play against zombies and hordes of the undead. That is absolutely right. And that is the game that I'm going to review for you right now. The review is coming up, sponsored by Bull Penis Energy Drink. And that review is... Yes, all right.
Hey everyone, so Developer Jam Time. It's a segment where we like to talk to someone in the industry as opposed just to a gamer. And we've got a pretty special treat now. Controversial for a gaming podcast, but we like to show both sides of the story. I've managed to secure a few minutes, not too long, with Rand Moorbucks, the well-known, smartly dressed CEO of Electric Paintings, which is pretty much the industry lead when it comes to playing. We've got a huge portfolio of sports games, we've got a huge portfolio of action first-person shooters and multiplayer online games, and a big mobile gaming division as well. So, Rand, thank you so much for coming on and gracing us.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Quite welcome, Rudy. It's a pleasure to be here on your very quaint podcast.
Oh, well, thank you. As I said, we like to show both sides of the story here. We're very, very equal here. And I know that, your company gets a lot of flack. But what I wanted to do is ask a few questions really about the state of the games industry and what you feel about it. I mean, you've been working now for Electric Paintings for many years.
Oh yes, no, quite a while now, and I've seen gaming trends kind of. I've really been at the forefront of quite a few of them. I've seen them come and I've seen them go. So I'm right there at where your listeners want to be found.
Oh well, that's great. So the first one is a hot topic that open up YouTube. There's 1,000,001 videos about this, so I've got to ask it while I've got you on the line. Do you think that single player games are dying?
Oh no, not even slightly. I think that the kind of games that we're playing are starting to kind of defy that kind of convention of whether it's single player or whether it's multiplayer. It doesn't matter. No, whether you can play it with your friends or you can play it on your own. But it's a game where you can interact with a bigger world, where you can kind of go and kind of do things, and you can kind of give money to our subscription service, and then you'll be able to kind of do more things, and then you'll be able to go on missions and do things that are missions, and then you can kind of come back from those missions and kind of show people with emotes and flags and kind of little decorations that you can put on your armor and on your sleeve, and you can kind of really be proud of your sense of accomplishment, having kind of won that flag, that piece of tat.
Okay, so but I don't know if you really answered my question there. So these games and these items, these are things that you can do on your own, or do you have to do it online, or is what's the options for players?
Well, I think that it's every option that they can possibly devise for themselves. They can kind of go and enter this kind of giant online world, but they can be as social or as antisocial as they like. They can go and kind of hang with their friends and say, hey, Chip, let's kind of go and do this kind of mission thing, or they can just go on their own and kind of achieve the mission by themselves. But the key important thing is that they kind of go to this big online subscribed world, and they have a bit of a blast, you say.
Oh, okay. So really, we're saying that it's something new, single player, multiplayer, all just merged into one big.
It's kind of a hybrid experience, and it's starting to kind of blend that distinction, I think.
Okay, that's an interesting one, and a unique insight, I think. So, one question which I really do need to ask you, and it's a really serious one, but your company and you in particular have been accused of peddling gambling to kids via loot boxes and microtransactions. How do you respond to those kind of accusations?
Well, I find that kind of quite shocking that people would make that assumption about something simple like a loot box. I mean, it's just the same as when I used to buy, Back to the Future trading cards when I was a small boy. I'd kind of get some trading cards, and it would come up with cards that I didn't know what was in there, and I would just kind of get what I was given, because that's what it was. And it's not gambling to buy trading cards. It's not gambling to kind of purchase a loot box, and who knows what you might get. And the fact that we're aiming them at children, I think that's a little bit unfair. I mean, these games are designed for people of all ages, and that if you look at the official definition of gambling, it requires actual money to be changing hands, and no real money is kind of moving when you purchase a loot box.
But I mean, I think one of the things that many people have come up with is that not only do you sell the loot boxes, but you also have a resale site where people can sell what they've got to other players for more money, but you also take a hefty percentage of that as well. And it's also using kid-friendly language and imagery. So how would you respond to that? How does that fit into your model?
That just sounds like a huge coincidence. No, I'm sure nobody could quite possibly make the connection that that's gambling to children. We're just kind of targeting our advertising and hoping that it kind of responds to all our key demographics.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. I think you've put that issue to bed once and for all. Thank you. Question now about the games industry. What's your favourite current gen console?
Oh, I am so in touch with all the current consoles. I know the Funbag 3000. I know the Neo Geo is still kind of very hip and happening with the kids today. The Neo Geo, it's probably a little bit ahead of what you've got here in the UK. It's one that's only kind of come out in Japan, I think.
The Neo Geo. I mean, is this a new console that I'm not? I mean, the Neo Geo was, I think, early 90s was released.
Oh no! It's coming back. It's kind of it's the one that they're all playing it in Japan, darling. It's all kind of that one there. All of our investors are kind of very kind of excited about that one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see if I can talk to someone in Japan about that. Okay, that's
Oh, you'll be lucky to get it in the UK for at least another 2 years.
Okay. Well, I best get my pre-order in now. I suppose. Lastly, I know you're a very busy man, and I don't want to keep you long. But how true is it that you are close to hiring the developer, the iconic developer, Peter Molyneux?
Oh, Peter! Oh, he's such a good friend. I'm such a big fan of his and all the games that he's created. He always delivers on whatever we kind of we specify for him. So every time he's kind of developed a game for us, we've always been kind of really kind of pleased with the results. Sometimes they take a few day one patches or day 365 patches to kind of get to where they need to be, but they are all smash hits and kind of coming with that Molly name that come with it. I think that really is a mark of quality and what you can expect from a game by having his name written on the side. Yes. Oh no, we have do a lot of business with Mr. Molly. Yes, it's not always that well publicized, but he's on our payroll for sure.
Is it true to say that he was instrumental in releasing your loot box transactions and getting that working?
Some of the ideas were Peter's, some of them were mine. We kind of had a bit of a brain fart about them, and we kind of came up with something that we think was quite inspired at the time that nobody else was doing. We kind of thought, what's the most we can get out of our customers? For our customers, what's the most we can kind of possibly do to fleece to kind of really furnish them with what they're looking for in gaming, and I think that we've really delivered on that.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, as you might not know this, Peter's a friend of the podcast, so we look forward to seeing some more of your collaborations on some of your electric painting games. Okay, well, Rand, thank you so much for being on the show. I need to let you get going. I understand you've got 4 more podcasts and 6 more conferences to do this afternoon. So thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. All right, on to the next one.
Hello everyone, it's Rudy Manchego, and I'm here with a follow-up to last podcast's VR Let's Play. Had some technical issues with that Let's Play, a few problems, a bit of sickness. But I'm back. I'm still convinced that we can get a good Let's Play going on the podcast. And what I've done, if you can hear the background noise, is I'm actually on a train right now. I'm on a work trip. I'm on the 12:15 from Paddington down to Reading. And what I've got with me is my Nintendo Switch. So I thought, let's just, have a bit of a review of how this bad boy works when I'm on a train, doing a bit of travelling, since it is a gaming platform you can take on the go that gives you a full gaming experience. So let me just boot this up for you now. So I'm just getting on the Nintendo. And that's it. And I'm playing Hollow Knight at the moment. So I'm just going to boot that up as well. Here we go. So you might be able to hear in the background. I've actually... there's not too many people sat near me, so I'm literally playing without any headphones, but you can put headphones on it. And I'm a few hours into the game, so I'm fairly good way through it. It's a difficult game. So one of the things about this, it's got a good screen size. What does that affect? Well, it affects battery life, you know what I mean? So a game like Hollow Knight, an indie game perhaps, where it's not as graphically intensive as a sort of bigger AAA, you could be looking at, good 4 to 5 hours, maybe a bit more, depending on what the screen sort of brightness is. But at the same time, if you're playing a AAA game, you might only get 2 to 3 hours. I think I got that out of Doom when I was playing on it. So it's a great little game, a great little system, and really is quite good for whiling away a really boring train trip. And I'm just gonna. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on. I'm actually seeing there's a little girl coming over to me from one of the other carriages. She's I think she's interested in my Nintendo, which is it's understandable, isn't it? It's quite new. There's a lot of adverts for it, I've noticed. So I'll just see what she thinks. We'll just say, oh yeah, hello little girl. How are you? What would you like to see my Nintendo?
Can I have your Nintendo?
Oh no, bless. No, this is my Nintendo. But you're welcome to have a look at it if you want to have a go. I've got a few games on here that you might like. And
give me your Nintendo now.
Well, back off. Come on, no, this is mine. This is my Nintendo. All right, okay. You can take your hands off it. I don't want to break it. Okay, I don't want to call your mum or anything. Can you just
give it here?
No. Get your hands off it. No. This is mine. This is mine. Just give it back. It's mine. Come on. No.
Oh, mate, that happened. Oh my goodness! Wow. No, she sounded like a complete monster. That one. She sounded, kind of really tough and burly. I mean, were they bruising?
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard for me to. It's hard for me to talk about. I mean, obviously it's the end of the podcast now, and that.
Did she take your wallet as well? As well as your Switch, or did she?
No, she took my Switch. She took the case for the Switch. She took my Pro Controller. She actually followed me home and then demanded I give her the dock as well from the TV and the HDMI cable and the plug. So it was. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, it was. Difficult.
So how did you feel when it happened? Because it seemed like she was quite intimidating. Are you able to move on with that? Is that?
I don't know. I mean, every time I turn on TV and I see BBs and small children playing, I think about it. And I think there's one of those kids playing my Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild saves right now. I don't know. I can't really say what she looked like. She was small. She was a child. Had a blonde hair, one ponytail. But the kids, they all look the same, don't they? I don't know. I mean, there was just when I looked in her eyes, that was the thing that got me. I looked in her eyes. It was just
a kind of crazy look of kind of mentalism, really, wasn't it?
There was just fire behind them. Yeah, that I just knew that I don't want to talk about it, but.
Let's keep talking about it.
I mean, I put some tweets out just to explain what happened, and I didn't get much support, to be honest, from people on Twitter.
Is this why you've been a gibbering wreck the past few days because of the child bugging?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the only person to get mugged by a 6-year-old, and what can you do against a 6-year-old? They could have a knife. You know what? They might have acid. You know what I mean? Yeah. Who knows what they've got? I mean, they play Fortnite now. They know how to kill you in hundreds of different ways. I mean,
did she do the loser dance at you when she was running away with your Switch?
Yeah, she did. And then she laughed. Then she made me floss, and then she laughed that I wasn't good enough. I just don't want to. I'm just reliving it now. So I think we need to move on.
So every last minute detail you're reliving right now.
Yeah. I think we should we just move on? We've got some questions from some of our listeners. Should we just move up to some of those questions? So,
all right, you read the first one.
Yeah, I mean, just to remind everyone, if you want to leave us a question, drop us a line on our Facebook page. I'll be all right. Just our Twitter page. Or
Teletubbies. Sorry, dude, couldn't help it.
I'm strong. I can get through this. Okay. So leave it on our website. Leave us a question on Twitter, on Facebook, or wherever, and we'll get back to you and read it out on the podcast. But first one's is for you, really, Dante. So I want to focus on you. This is to do with your ongoing charity. So
yeah, we'll make some serious moves on that. We're going to talk about it in the next podcast.
But the question here I've got is. Says, your Up is Down is Up charity sounds like a scam and a complete waste of effort, from lefties at evil22 at yahoo.co.uk.
I'm going to get back to those guys about this one. It is not a scam, and your left-handed agenda will not be pushed on this podcast. If you're listening, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I read this one out on purpose because we got so many letters, but I wanted to show this the kind of abuse that Dante's been getting over his charity.
Yeah, but a lot of it's from you, generally.
Yes. I also took down your website and put pictures of you naked up on it instead of that. But
what?
That was really out of...
That's why I've been getting those messages as well.
Yeah. That was me. But this one wasn't me because it clearly says it's from Lefties Are Evil 22 at yahoo.co.uk, and that's not my website address. Mine are just Lefties Are Idiots, but not 22 or evil. So
I thought you had one about inverters already.
Oh, I've claimed quite a lot of them, to be honest. You won't be able to find most mocking email titles or Twitter handles. I've claimed most of those. So nice. The answer there for you, Lefties Are Evil 22 Yaku, is it's not a scam, and Dante's coming for you.
Damn right I am. Now, there's another question in the bag, so let me grab this one out. Right. Question: what is your favourite in the Rocket Flap series? Which game in the franchise should I start from? This comes from a worried first-time flapper.
And I get that. There are, I think, there are about 17 mainline entries, and
if you count the spin-offs, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, some people say start at Rocket Flaps 1, which is just called Rocket Flaps. Some people say there's no point, go straight in at like 4 or 5. I think this is Rocket Flaps 5, the Flappening.
That's where I came in. That's the first one I played.
I think that makes sense to me as well. There was a brief period when Rocket Flaps kind of diverted a bit from the mainline formula. Some of the spin-offs like Rocket Flaps Flap All Night, which was like a dancing sim. There was a French kind of inspired like noir version, which was Rocket Flaps Le Boeuf Noir.
No, I like Rocket Flaps Vice, the one where you kind of played the 80s detectives.
Yeah, exactly. So I suppose my answer to was it Worried First Time Flapper?
That's the one.
I think my answer to Worried First Time Flapper would be just search through and see if there's so many different games in them. Just pick your first one. But me and Dante both started on Rocket Flaps 5, the
Flappening. Yeah, that's a good one.
And it acts as a kind of soft reboot. You don't need to play the previous 4 games, and it's a bit more in line with current gen consoles. The ones previous before that were very, very blocky old tech. These ones at least feel a bit more modern. So that'd be my answer there.
Yeah, I had to go with that too.
Okay, one more quick question then. So this one was quite a long one here. So question is, you two seem like well-balanced and stable individuals. How do you stop video games from turning into violent degenerates?
I think that's all we've got time for today. That's questions clearly come from a member of the Republican Party. We're going to have to just kind of put that one down because we're fine. We're good.
So we'll catch everyone in the next podcast, hopefully from EGX. So catch you all later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
So, Dante, for EGX.
Yeah.
I've got the T-shirts ordered. We got Jambags logo. It's got our names on the back. It's all sorted almost exactly how you wanted them.
Did you get my size right?
Well, you wanted, I can't remember which size you wanted, but I've ordered us both extra small.
What? That's not going to fit me.
No, hear me out. The reason is that I've noticed that most of the kids these days have very, very tight clothes. Tight trousers, tight tops, everything's tight. And we need to be...
That's because they're 6-year-olds that mug you.
Yeah, but we need to be cool like those guys as well. So if we get extra small, these T-shirts will be very, very tight.
Right.
Which would make us more appealing to a younger demographic, I think, if we saw them. We'll stand out more at EGX.
Oh, that's definitely going to happen, I think. Yeah. We are definitely going to stand out in those T-shirts. I mean, the design was great, but extra small?
It was £2 cheaper. And, I mean, not each on top of it, so it was £1 each cheaper, so I just figured...
Well, I do need to eat this month, so yeah, that could help.
Yeah, also the food's quite expensive at EGX, so that £2 will buy us half a wrap from that sandwich shop. Yeah, so
that's a feast.
The question is, what do you reckon? What we're wearing? That's our tops. What about our bottom half? What are you thinking?
I'm not wearing any right now. I'm not going to wear it to EGX for sure.
You're going. You mean just pants, or are you going just nothing?
I want to feel the breeze.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think we'll be all right like that? I mean, there's a lot of cosplayers don't wear many clothes. Do you reckon we can?
I think we'll fit right in.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, just go naked, bottom half.
Yeah,
okay,
with the extra small
t-shirts. So that'll come
I'm
up
coming
to
around to that idea. I think that might kind of really pop.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just say we're cosplaying a Japanese game or something.
Yeah, and we'll kind of take some of those kind of gift sets from that Hippy Dippy Ding Dong game.
Yeah, I'll be fine. We'll be fine. All right then. Right. Well, I'll see you in Birmingham. Yeah.
See you in Birmingham.
All right. Catch you later.
EGX.